What made you join Reddit? What I like the most about Reddit is that there's very little chance anything I'll see or say here will have any direct impact on my life, so browsing and posting is 100% entertainment. With other SM it always feels like building your social credit and staying on top of what's going on in your social circle, which I don't mind doing from time to time, but it definitely is not relaxation. I have been browsing Reddit for 6 years but did not make an account until this month. I like that you are anonymous and can get unrestricted opinions, good or bad. For instance, I made a throwaway and asked the pre-med and bioengineering subreddits for career and resume advice, and I got honest opinions from experts in the field on ways to improve. These opinions were not filtered because they did not know me. It was really useful tbh. Some even reached out to me in chat to give me advice on job hunting. One hiring manager even told me which companies to apply to. Not to mention on Facebook, and even more so on Twitter, it just seems like a free-for-all with the trolls doing their shit and it being visible. Unless a subreddit is pretty much unmoderated here, trolls doing their thing to stir discontent gets downvoted and thrown out of the way. You gotta find it if you want to see it. That is such a great distinction. I haven't been on Facebook since I deleted 3 years ago. But it's amazing to me how much it changed. I was a college student in the 2000s, and that site gave everything a new dimension. College parties, road trips, nights out, crushes, girlfriends, exes, football games. Everything was elevated because of Facebook. I'm old enough now to think of it as a completely different time. I came to realize this soon after browsing. I was doing a Google search BC. I became interested in vintage gaming and found a community on Reddit. For years before I assumed Reddit was some toxic echo chamber of basement dwelling, fedora-wearing right-wing edgelords. Sorry, but after spending time looking around, I came to realize that's hardly the case at all. At least not in most subs I've been to. In fact, it seemed to be the opposite. I was pleasantly surprised by Reddit and enjoyed looking through the vintage gaming subs. That's not to say I found it a super friendly, toxic-free place, just that it wasn't nearly as bad as I expected it to be, and that led me to look at other subs, and before I knew it, I signed up. I realized I like following subject discussions more than individual people. Even though this specific account is just under 2 years old, I've now been on Reddit for almost 5 years and it's been one of my main forms of social media. Joining in. Do you all think how terrible Reddit used to look compared to Dick? And now I don't even want the new Reddit. I still love the old Reddit design. The site sure has changed over the years. Subreddits used to raid each other. Now I can barely post anything without an auto-mod deleting my post for not whatever reason. The site used to have more text posts and less images, and we tried to do a lot of good as a community as well. Being anonymous. Now that doesn't give you an express right to be an asshole, but it is exactly what differentiates Reddit from other so-called social media, and that includes LinkedIn too. You don't have to be interactive enough to be noticed, like that Black Mirror episode where people were so desperate to be in someone's eyes. Honestly, I find Reddit more peaceful and informative and somewhat consoling too than Facebook, Instagram, etc. Also, I don't care about people's personal lives. People on social media only post pictures of the best of times. At least on Reddit, people also share their normal things. Besides what others have said, I also really appreciate that the downvote means something. You don't get a free pass to be an asshole. On the other side, you know a comment or post is likely to be good because it has plenty of upvotes and awards. The ability to downvote was a major reason I joined. I think people forget that 10-12 years ago very few things had a meaningful downvote capability. But honestly, for community-driven content to work, the community has to be able to say no to things. This was absolutely the draw for me as well. The only ways to respond to shitty people on Facebook are the angry emoji and the laughing emoji. The angry one was unsatisfactory because anger is usually the response that trolls are going for. So in a way, it felt like I was letting them win by showing the angry emoji. The laughing emoji can be misconstrued as me laughing with the trolls. The downvote used to be a lot better actually. The score used to show total upvotes and downvotes, so a comment at -1 could display 300, -301. It let people know what was actually a bad post and what was just controversial. In my opinion, getting rid of that was the single worst thing Reddit ever did. It's too easy to silence dissenting opinions now, and that's why this site is such an awful echo chamber. Same, back in 2012, I remember when 9gag was all up, when you saw the username of the poster, then mod accounts forced their posts in the front page, then they removed the username from the post, then there were a lot of reposts, bad posts, and I was like, okay, I need something better, found Reddit and never looked back. I quit 9gag in favor of Reddit years ago. I read a comment on a random post that was so unnecessarily toxic and negative, which was also the top comment with a ridiculous amount of likes, and I was just out completely. I'd been frustrated with the culture for a while, but that was the last straw. Deleted the app, deleted the shortcuts, and never looked back. I recently found a 9gag post on the new Friends special, decided to read the comments, and honestly nothing has changed. Not that Redditors are any better when it comes to Friends, I swear everyone has a harden for hating that show. 9gag is actually disturbing nowadays. It's like a far-right echo chamber mixed with toxicity, hate, and ... Well, 9gaggers. Posts like "Go woke, go broke" are constant, straight up racism and misogyny in the trending page, and comments are just, I don't know how to describe them. They literally use a couple of words they call black people with, as mockery, and sell shit as well. Literally normal posts like a girl doing yoga with a dog have top comments implying the two surely have sexual intercourse. What the fuck? Also an insane amount of content straight up stolen from Reddit. I tried directing to the source a couple of times when people asked for up and discovered comments mentioning Reddit get obscured. Apparently, it basically went to shit in the last years, almost suddenly. I deleted all of my social media because it just felt toxic and self-absorbed. Of course this isn't the case for everyone, but I just recognized that it didn't feel like a good influence for me personally, and figured that if I followed the right subs, for example relating to my interests such as painting, literature, etc., then Reddit could be a good substitute. It also feels a lot more authentic here. You're not getting all the generic rape like "look at how perfect my life is" so often. I think this is where the anonymity works wonders because people don't have the same focus on self-image like they might do otherwise. The anonymity helps, I think. It kind of reminds me of the internet in the late 90s to early 2000s. It's mostly just a forum with strangers. If someone was being a dick, you ignore them and usually don't know who they are. Other socials don't have that. When someone's being a dick, you know them in some way and it changes how your relationships are in real life. I'm here because of that. And the porn is the reason, also the memes. Edit: I did not expect for this to blow up like it did. I literally posted this in English consultations. They are mandatory to do before an exam in Germany, at least in Saxony. Same, came for the porn, made a real account for the robust, well-structured comment sections. Everywhere else comment sections have ridiculously short character limits. Twitter, or once you leave the post the comments become a jumbled up, disorganized mess to the point you can't even find your own comments again. Looking at you Facebook. Instagram used to be great, But now all the once decent meme pages are full of adverts and fake videos. There used to be animal pages I followed, but then their owners decided they were influencers and also started posting mostly sponsored content and more of themselves than their animals. Annoying. Every time I searched for something, there was a Reddit thread discussing it. Finally made an account when I found a 1-minute clip of a movie with no other info and needed to know the title. Reddit had an answer in about 5 minutes. Absolutely insane. I was at a really low point in my life and wanted to try and quit drinking again for the umpteenth time. I was mortified to try AA. And also COVID, so all the meetings were online. I even found it, but I joined Reddit so I could post on r. Stop drinking. I shed on Reddit for the last 10 years thinking it was a waste of space exclusively for the worst kind of the Rick and Morty fanbase. Lol. Blew my mind that something like SD could be on Reddit. I can't believe it's almost been a year. Having that community for support was what I had been missing in all my attempts to quit prior. Hate Facebook, and at the same time felt like I was spending way too much time on Facebook. For all the negative shit Redditors say about Reddit, it's so much more informative and less toxic than 99% of Facebook. So if you still want some degree of social law being engaged with communities of similar interest, etc., Reddit is a massive upgrade from seeing some of that plus racist family members saying dumb shit all the time. I am anonymous here, and whatever I have to express, I can express myself without knowing them in person. They don't know me and I don't know them, so there is no fear of being judged or judging others. I can express my frustration here and I don't fear anyone to discuss here if I don't agree with them. Moreover, there are many communities where I can meet the similar-minded people as I'm or I want. I wanted an anonymous place I could share my experience of sexual abuse and get it off my chest, somewhere where people would read it, and someone was bound to understand, and the only people who would judge me would be strangers. It felt so good to finally let it all out, even to a bunch of strangers. It literally changed my life. It was only 2 months ago, but already my life is completely different because of it. Then I found some subs for my hobbies and interests, so decided to stick around. We were issued laptops sophomore year in high school, and naturally people weren't using them for academic purposes during class. One day, my lit teacher said something like, "I know it's tempting to play Halo or browse Reddit during class, and I get it. Reddit has some interesting stuff on there, but you can do that in your free time." Reddit wasn't blocked on the laptops, so right after she said that, I checked it out. Neat stuff. Is the place full of anonymous people who are more kind and friendly than assholes. In other social media, people gotta use the anonymous thing to be cruel and act like a bully, but if you do it in Reddit, you will be downvoted, thus you'll lose karma and won't enter in some subreddits and people will ignore you. Initially years ago on my reg information, there is info on here that you can only attain and retain through experience, and it's pretty easily accessible if you know what you want and where to look. Certain subs have amazing communities whom will get you what you need. This horny lockdown lonesomeness, I wanted somewhere to talk sexual experiences and be a little naughty without marring my SFW account. I liked some articles which were based on Reddit threads and came here through different website links. Also, though, I really hated the interface earlier and I didn't join but just read without commenting, and then I couldn't stop myself from wanting to be part of that thread discussion and finally joined. I learned a lot from various threads, whether science, history, pop culture, finance and even piracy. Though pirated stuff gets banned faster today than earlier, I also found abundance of porn, but a lot of threads related to it are just too disgusting and should be right out banned in my opinion. I really can't tolerate some of the hardcore and violent threads. For like the whole of middle school and first year of high school, my dad refused to get me a smartphone, so I never had the opportunity to really get into social media. My friends were always showing me memes from Reddit, and I would hear like YouTubers yell all about it all the time, so it was like one of the first things I downloaded when I finally was able to say fuck you to my dad and bought my own phone. I used to obsessively read BuzzFeed articles from Facebook during my breaks, and my husband said, you know, all that stuff's from Reddit, just go there instead of giving ad revenue to this clickbait shit. I was intimidated by Reddit and so hadn't given it a chance. So glad I did. I have several accounts now. This one is new, but it's been about 4 years now. There were things in my life that I really needed help with that I felt like I couldn't talk about with anyone that I knew well. I was struggling with a pretty unhealthy relationship, and I was embarrassed to tell my friends and family what was going on. It was easier to talk about it with strangers. Also, just for really niche interests. There's literally no other place on the internet to talk about fish. I was tapering off opioids after years of surgeries and pain management, and the opiate recovery forum was a literal godsend. I was clear to never claim that I was an addict because I didn't want to disrespect their truly painful struggle, but the community still supported me and included me and helped me so much while I was going through a rough time. Join Reddit. I don't follow. I was born here and I will die here. No one joins the collective of Reddit. We are all one with it. We are Reddit. We were all born onto Reddit, and we will all be consumed by its all-knowing power in the end days of the internet. You ask, what made you join Reddit? I say this: Reddit made you, me, all of us. So the question should be this: what made Reddit make you? I joined after the great dig.com exodus, only spoken of now in the ancient legends. I joined Dig in the first place because a coworker recommended it and said it was cool. He explained it like people post blogs to the site and then other users dig or bury it based on if they think it's cool. The concept seemed pretty intriguing to me, so I checked it out and got hooked. Reddit was the natural successor after Dig destroyed its entire business with one bad update. I had a friend in my first year of university who I came to a problem with. He said, why don't you just type the problem into Google and type Reddit at the end? Ever since, that's the only Googling I do. Even at work, I sometimes out of habit type Reddit at the end of problems I have with Excel, for instance. Haha. It was one of the best concentrations of coverage for the Arab Spring and the subsequent fallout in Libya and Syria. WTF was fun until ISIS videos started popping up. Then it became a fun place for fandoms and then info on hobbies. Now since the death of Tumblr, it's been top-notch for porn. BuzzFeed kept using Reddit posts. They were the only decent /funny /weird articles and weren't focused on annoying celebrities, so I figured I would just come straight to the source. The weird is definitely living up to expectations and I love it. Dig imploding. The writing was on the wall with the redesign and the power users dominating submissions. So I came here, only to watch a shitty redesign occur and power users dominate submissions. But for the couple of years between Dig's shit and Reddit's, it was great. This time around though, I've found a few smaller Reddit replacements to call home. One of them is actually Dig again. It's just a news aggregator without user submission or comments, but that's fine by me. Another is Hacker News, which is more akin to old Reddit, but still awful in its own way. I think it started out as a way to express my conservative political ideas, that is, argue with people about ideas I learned from right-wing talking heads, without putting my real name behind them, because I was afraid of how people would view me in the real world. I can honestly say that because of the discussions I've had on Reddit, I become, more or less, de-radicalized. I've legitimately changed almost my entire core philosophy. And I'm so much better for it. It's been a hell of a few years. Thank God I didn't choose 4chan, haha. Had a night of wild sex once after sharing our dank memes with this woman. She was older, told me she had a kid, who browsed Reddit. I was out of the loop, so I asked her to explain what it was. She told me about all these troves of knowledge, akin to visiting a royal library in the 1500s, but everything was next fucking level. The pictures of cute animals weren't just cute, they would make you audibly go The most difficult life questions were r/e-life. You could seek legal advice and watch people die inside within seconds. It was a conglomeration of perfection. So I called Reddit my new home. And that, my fellow keyboard friend, is how I fucked your mother.